Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. My name is Brian Fisher, your congenial, convivial, and amiable host. You're listening to Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on Conservative Talk Radio. Start this hour with a catastrophic global warming alert. The water froze so fast in Norway that it froze thousands and thousands of fish. I'm looking at pictures of them. These fish have been flash frozen in the ice. I mean, in place. While they're swimming, they're just frozen solid. Like they're flash frozen because the temperature dropped so rapidly. So that's the catastrophic global warming alert. You know, I got a piece here about the Civil Aviation Authority saying that they're concerned that global warming is going to lead to more lightning strikes on aircraft. Got another story from yesterday, didn't get to it, but last year, and again, this just shows you this is all build, it's all hype. There's no science here. Last year, we suffered the fewest fatalities from lightning strikes in history. Fewer people died from lightning strikes in 2013 than ever since they've been keeping records, and they've been doing this for a really long time. So, and then here you got the civilian aviation. Oh, no, lightning strikes are going to take out more planes. It's getting worse and not better. Now, the number to call is 888-589-8840. If you want to join the conversation, we'll take some calls here at the end of this segment. I want to update you on my conversation. Yesterday, we had the story. We had one of the victims on that talked about being actually assaulted by the boyfriend of a woman who was getting an abortion at an abortion clinic in Norman, Oklahoma. They went into the abortion clinic. We actually, the girlfriend called in. We talked with her for an entire segment. These two sidewalk counselors were outside. They had signs that show graphically what happens to aborted babies. They're perfectly legal. They were outside the buffer zone, 15-foot buffer zone. They obeyed that law. The girl herself said, look, they were standing where they legally were allowed to be. They just got as close to us as they legally could. So she even admitted that they had obeyed the law. She started by saying that they yelled at them, but then she modified that and said, no, they spoke loudly to us. Well, if you're 15 feet away and you're going to be heard, you're going to have to raise your volume. So nothing inappropriate there. She immediately corrected herself. They didn't yell at her. They spoke loudly enough for her to hear. And she admitted in the program that her boyfriend, I think the word was attacked. It's either attacked or assaulted. I think she used the word attacked. So she admitted in her conversation with us that her boyfriend attacked these sidewalk counselors. And we've got the video. If you're watching yesterday or you're on my Twitter feed or Focal Point Facebook, you've had a chance to look at the video for yourself. You got a video of the boyfriend assaulting these two sidewalk counselors. Not once, but 3 times. I mean, assaulting them. There's a clear footage of him striking one of them in the face. That's assault and battery under any definition of the term. And then the sidewalk counselors, they retreat down the street and he follows them. He pursues them and initiates a second physical confrontation and then a third physical confrontation. He destroys their cameras. These cameras are several $100s worth of equipment, destroys them, throws them to the ground, actually wound up throwing one of the cameras at these sidewalk counselors and stormed off, threatened to kill them. If I had a gun here, I'd shoot you. Did you just threaten my life? Yes, I did. And then came back later a second time and threatened them again with homicide, basically. Now, I talked to Rick Knighton of the city attorney's office in Norman, Oklahoma. I invited him to come on this program. He would not do it. Yeah, initially when I talked to him, he said, that shouldn't be a problem. I said, Rick, will you come on this program and walk us through kind of the legal ins and outs of this deal? He said, shouldn't be a problem. Got to check with my superiors. Checks with the superiors. I catch up with them later. Can't do it. No live interviews. Not going to do it. So I frankly think they are heading for the tall grass. I think they know that they've got busted on this one, that they look really, really bad, and that they're just going to start ducking for cover, I think is what they are going to do. Now, I asked Rick this question. I said, look, it's customary in these circumstances when it's a case of a misdemeanor. So they're classifying this as a misdemeanor. destruction of hundreds of dollars of equipment. And he indicated that the line between a misdemeanor vandalism is about $500. If it's more than $500 worth of equipment, then it becomes a felony offense. Well, these GoPro cameras that they were using, they're at least $400 worth, and he went after two cameras. Two cameras were either stolen or damaged or destroyed in the process. So by definition, if there was more than $500 worth of camera equipment that this guy destroyed, that is a felony. And so I asked Rick, well, listen, where's the line between a misdemeanor assault and battery and a felony? And he says, well, if it leaves some kind of bruise or wound. You got a black eye, then that's a felony. You don't have a black eye, it's not. And I said, well, what if you've got video, which we have, of this guy being punched in the face? I says, well, and he's pursuing the guy down the street. The guy's actually withdrawing to try to de-escalate the thing. There's zero evidence that he provoked anything, that they initiated anything. They were obeying the law at every step of the process. So this is an entirely unprovoked attack. And, well, we refer this to mediation. Well, now mediation implies that both sides have a point. Both sides have a case, and you're going to try to find some common ground. Well, you've got a fracas like this where there is clearly one party that is the aggressor, one party that is the perpetrator, and the other party is the victim, and there is no evidence whatsoever that the victim did anything in violation of the law to provoke this encounter. Then you don't mediate. You don't need mediation. You need justice. And I was curious. I asked Mr. Knight, and I said, look, Rick, you're referring this to mediation instead of the prosecution. And he said that, look, if they turn down mediation, if the victim's here, if they turn down mediation, then it will go back to the prosecuting attorney's office, and it could go to trial, Then the prosecutor is going to have to make a decision. So if the victims in this case say, look, we're not interested in mediation, we don't want to go through mediation, and what Rick said, Rick Knighton said, look, usually they want to go through mediation because that's the only way they got a chance to recover their losses. And I said, well, Rick, I don't think this is about the damage to the camera. This is about the right of people that care about the sanctity of life to have their constitutional rights to freedom of speech protected in Norman, Oklahoma. And what you're telling me, Rick, what you're telling me by not prosecuting this, by sending this to mediation, instead of hauling this guy up on charges, you are telling me and you are telling America that in Norman, Oklahoma, you get one free swing at a sidewalk counselor. You get one free punch. You want to play the knockout game with a sidewalk counselor? Norman, Oklahoma is the place where you can go to do it, because we won't prosecute you if it's just one punch and you don't leave the guy with a black eye. And I said, Rick, you're telling me that you guys viewed the video. Yeah, several attorneys in this office have looked at the video. And I said, you've seen that he initiated the assault, that it was physical. You've got him on tape slugging the guy in the face. You see the pursuit, the stalking, the repeat, and that doesn't make any difference. And he said no. Focal Point and After Talk.